r/ am I the a-hole just got worse. Hello you gorgeous donuts. People have been writing into the Reddit thread r/ am I the a-hole to discover if they're being the bad person in a situation. And today we're going to give our opinion on each of these cases. And there's one specific story later on in this video from just the headline has made me speechless. So let's get into this. Am I the a-hole for revoking my mother-in-law's baby monitor access after a comment she made whilst I was breastfeeding? Oh, I love a good monster-in-law story. Great movie as well. Check it out. Jennifer Lopez, what a performance. I, 32 female, have a 3-month-old baby with my husband, 31 male. His mom lives across the country. We're on the East Coast, she's in California. And to be honest, she's always been a little intense. This is definitely the nice way to put it. If this wasn't his mother, she would be like, yeah, she's a bit of a not a full-blown monster-in-law, but defo more involved than I'm used to. That means she's definitely a monster-in-law. Like, she's the kind of woman who will call to say she has a cuter outfit for the baby than the one I posted on Instagram. Okay, we'll just read through all this before we comment. Anyway, when our baby was born, my mother-in-law asked if she could have access to the baby monitor so she could see her grandchild grow up from afar. I was a little iffy on it, but my husband thought it would be sweet and would help her feel more connected, since she can't visit often. So I agree. We have a nanny camera in the nursery which lets you view the video feed from anywhere. What I didn't realise is that she'd be watching us all the time. Like, not just the baby sleeping, she comments on things she has no business even noticing. Like the other day, I was breastfeeding in the nursery. I wear a robe because it's more comfy, and a few hours later she texted my husband saying, "Tell my name, I'd be happy to send her a nicer robe. That red one's looking a little raggedy." I'll tell you who's going to be looking a little raggedy when you come and visit, love. I'll tie this bloody red robe round your bloody Sorry. Read on. Like, what? Excuse me? I was so creeped out. I mean, that was clearly during a private moment, not just the baby napping. I told my husband and he kind of just shrugged it off. He said something like, she doesn't mean anything by it. She's just observant. I grew up like that. We never had any real privacy in the house. Okay, but we're not kids anymore, and she's not even here. She also makes weird little passive-aggressive comments, like if the baby cries for a while, she'll text things like, "Poor little guy, someone must be tired today," or "I would have picked him up sooner, but you're the mama." Oh, granny's a good one, isn't she? Which feels like she's judging me, but trying to play it off as casual. And she always acts like she's trying to help, but it's in a way that makes me feel like I'm constantly being watched and judged. It's not mean, just kinda boundary pushy. Otherwise, you can just call that mean. So I changed the settings on the camera so she can't access it anymore. I didn't announce it, I just did it. She texted my husband and asked if something was wrong with her app, and now he's mad at me for making it a thing. He says it was harmless, and now she feels cut off, and I could have just told her instead of going behind everyone's back. I told him I didn't think I needed permission to stop someone from watching me in my own house. He says I overreacted. I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. To me, this is a huge privacy issue, but maybe I'm just being dramatic. I just don't want someone literally across the country watching me breastfeed and make comments on my clothes and parenting. So, am I the a-hole? Okay, that was a long one to start off with, but let's just get into the meat of it. Let's look at this chronologically as she wrote it, okay? Straight away, before you even said anything about the camera, I could tell that you're not fond of your mother-in-law. The fact you had to clarify that she's not a monster-in-law pretty much says to everyone reading this, yeah, she is a monster-in-law. Because you just wouldn't bring it up otherwise, would you? It's like if you meet a friend and they're introducing their other friend who's a murderer. They go, oh, by the way, they're not a murderer, right? They couldn't prove it. It'd be like, well, obviously now I just think he's a murderer, like the fact you've brought it up, I'm going to attach that to him now. The first red flag you raised was definitely when, you know, you post a nice photo of your baby and she has something negative to say. She might not like frame it as negative, saying, oh, I've got a cuter outfit that I would have put them in, but that's a negative thing. They're basically saying, yeah, the thing that you dressed your baby up in, I don't like it. She'd be voted out first if it was America's Top Model, that's all I'm saying. Wouldn't get past the first round. What you playing at? Honey Boo Boo would spit on your baby. Sorry, I'm going too far. Now, the fact that you granted access for this mother-in-law to, you know, be able to see the baby at any time she wants, that is you in my opinion, going out your way to help, this is not something that should be expected. Like, you're going out of your way to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna relinquish this privacy that I once had for your benefit. You're going out of your way to help the mother-in-law. You're doing a nice thing here. However, she is not treating this like you are going out of your way. She's treating this like something that should be expected. Like she's owed this right, which she's not. It doesn't matter if she's the mom of your husband or not. And the fact she had the cheek to say that the robe that you were wearing when you were breastfeeding your baby is like not up to scratch, or it's looking a little bit raggedy. Like, not only is that a horrible comment anyway, because you're gonna just wear, like, I don't know, I've never breastfed a baby, shockingly, but I imagine you just want to wear something that you feel comfortable in. You know, something that you don't, you know, you just don't, anything. No one's watching you. Like, this is your private time with your baby. If you want to do it naked, you should be able to do it naked. You get my point, right? Like, this person should be able to wear whatever they want when they're breastfeeding their baby. They shouldn't have to be judged. Because when they leave the house, they're probably judged by, like, other people anyway. Like, if there's one place you don't want to be judged, it's in the comfort of your own home. And although that is, like, a big issue, what's just happened there, I actually think arguably the biggest issue is how your husband's reacting to this. Because he's kind of invalidating your feelings, basically. He's basically saying, like, oh, God, that's just me, mom. Like, she's just observant. Like, he's basically in the pocket of his mom. Like, he's kind of looking at it from his mom's point of view, but not looking at it from your point of view, which says to me, like, what is this pecking order that he's got in his mind? Is it baby mom then you, or is it mom baby then you? You're third. Whatever's going on here, it seems like you are third, which shouldn't be the case, and that often happens. Like, I was reading this article that, sorry, I wasn't actually. I was watching a video. I try to sound really, like, clever there. I was reading an article. I was watching a YouTube video. Don't know why I tried to sound fancy there. But basically, like, a lot of new moms, unfortunately, in their family dynamic, they come last when they have a baby. Like, when it's just them and their partner, obviously their partner's priority. But when a baby comes, like, obviously the baby takes priority. But a lot of people put their mom before, you know, the partner, which just, in my opinion, shouldn't be the case. I guess that's up for debate, though. So you're just gonna feel like your feelings don't matter in the situation when you are the one that seems to be looking after the baby the most as well. Just looking at this from your husband's point of view, it seems like he's been subjected to this kind of control, I'd say, his entire life. Like, you know, you've quoted him saying, we never really had privacy in the house. I grew up like that. So just giving him a little bit of benefit of the doubt, he might just think this is normal. So the way that he's responded to you, he might not be meaning to kind of disregard your feelings. It's just because his feelings were always disregarded when he was a child, so he's grew up thinking that's normal. So even though it's not your job to kind of fix that part of him, it is important that you keep reiterating to him that this is not normal. God, I'm getting, like, fully deep into this right now, because this is not normal, right? Like, I wouldn't be comfortable with this. Like, if, I don't know, let's just say when I have a kid, if I'm breastfeeding that kid, okay, right, it can happen, and Chloe's mom's on the blower being like, ooh, your boxers are a little bit raggedy, wouldn't have been wearing them. I'd be like, really, love, fucking put them over your head. Chloe's mom's watching. I wouldn't do that to her. She's a very lovely woman. She wouldn't say that anyway. She's great. Just need to put that out there before any family dynamics come to play. Also, like, the other passive aggressive comment she makes, like, poor little guy, someone must be tired today, or I would have picked him up sooner. Well, why didn't you then? If you really want to help, why don't you move closer to it instead of just having, like, your big brother comments over the bloody monitor? Day 2 in the baby household. I would have picked him up earlier. Your actions speak louder than your words, love. Okay, if you really wanted to, you would. I just know this would be so infuriating, especially, like, you know, when you're getting no sleep, like, with a newborn baby, and then you've just got this little voice that isn't actually helping with anything, saying they would do everything better. It must be so infuriating. Now, let's get on to the way that you kind of responded. You said that you've just locked her out of the account without saying anything. You've literally just, like, cut it off like that. And yes, I would say this is probably the most abrupt way to do it. But, like, why should you consider her feelings or consider your husband's feelings when both of them haven't been considering your feelings for what I imagine is weeks, if not months? You know, you've got a 3-month-old baby here. And I imagine you have been consistently saying, like, look, I don't feel comfortable with this. They've constantly shrugged you off. Like, how else are you about to get this through to them? Like, you have to put your foot down eventually. Moving forward, I don't know if there's, like, a, you know, a compromise you could come to where maybe, you know, she gets, like, a Friday that you can FaceTime her on a Friday, or just something, kind of set boundaries. That's what's needed to be done here. Like, she doesn't need 24-hour access to the house. This is not the Big Brother house where you can watch the live stream on YouTube, right? Just set times, you know, even like a couple of times a week. If you have the time to FaceTime her, that would be lovely. And then she can have direct contact with the child. She doesn't have to watch the child sleep. Because I'm telling you right now, watching the child sleep doesn't bring her closer to the child. And the more I think about this, the more I think, does she actually want to see the child? Or is she just being nosy about you? Because she seems more concerned about you than the actual child, I'm afraid. And to answer whether you are the asshole, like, you're not the asshole here. You're not the asshole. Like, the overriding a-hole is definitely old grandma, right? She's definitely the a-hole here. But your husband is definitely... You know, I can see why he's acting the way he's acting, but he needs to fix his game up, otherwise he's going to be joining her in the a-hole group. Okay, a-hole anonymous meetings. Am I the a-hole for telling my heavily pregnant friend her fiancé was in a documentary? Now, I read the headline of this one, and I know which documentary it's about, but I don't know anything about the story. I am so scared to read this. Okay, it's currently 4 a.m, and I feel so guilty right now, I can't sleep. What you done, love? What have you done? Okay, so myself and a few girlfriends decided to watch a documentary that's been trending. Not gonna lie, I was expecting a documentary showing a human side of a certain person, but yeah, as anyone who has watched the documentary knows what it was. Now, just for context, they do confirm it in the comments, so I might as well tell you now. This is the Blue documentary, which Channel 4 recently dropped. I am thinking about doing a full video covering it. Anyway, let's read on. Onto the issue. My friend's fiancé was one of the 1,000. I wasn't the first person to notice. Two other friends were first to notice. I didn't believe it at first, but with a second watch, it was definitely him. Sorry. I don't know what's stressing us out. The fact that this information, or the fact this person doesn't use full stops. Like, there's not a single full stop in this paragraph. I'm probably going to get out of breath at times here. Now, even though his face was covered, the body shape and especially the tattoos were undeniable. We debated till the early hours of the morning if we should tell her or wait because she's 8 months pregnant. But in my opinion, if someone cheats like that, it's not their first time, and I'd rather lose her friendship for telling her straight away than her finding out I knew and I hid it, because let's be real, when you tell someone news like that, there's a huge chance they'll hate you, not the cheater. Honestly, on top 3 worst things I've ever read in my life, honestly up there. Honestly up there. And trust us, I read the first 2 pages of 50 Shades of Grey. This beats that. So this Sunday morning, I asked my friend to meet up to talk. I showed her the evidence, and the minute she looked at the picture, she knew it was him and broke down. I expected her to be angry at me, but she thanked me for being honest, as multiple people have hinted that she should watch the documentary instead of being upfront like I was. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps here, guys. I ended up driving her to her mom's house. I'm guessing she told her fiancé. I told her because he has been blowing up my phone, calling me an evil little homewrecker who ruined not only his life and calling me out on social media for trying to ruin his relationship, but wanting his unborn daughter to grow up without a dad. My friends are angry with me for telling her straight away and not wait until she had the baby in case the stress would cause issues to her health. I don't give 2 shits if I'm being honest about her fiancé, but I feel so bad for putting my friend in this situation while she's heavily pregnant. And I'm worried if something does happen to her, it will be my fault, like maybe she should have watched it herself and found out on her own. Am I the asshole for telling my pregnant friend her fiancé was in the documentary? Okay, and we've got an edit, like an update edit. Let's just, you know, react to this original post. This is going to be up for debate, and obviously health is involved in this, which, you know, makes it a lot trickier. First off, right, before we get into your part in this is not your fault. The fact that you're in this situation, you can't help being in this situation. Like, the fact that you saw your friend's fiance in that is not your fault, okay? The fault solely lies with the fiance here. Let's just say your friend wasn't pregnant. Him queuing up to, you know, sleep with Blue is cheating in itself and is awful in itself. Like, it's even awful if he didn't have, you know, a partner at home. But the fact he's cheated on his partner and not told her, and they haven't agreed this at all, I imagine they wouldn't agree, that's why he's not told her, that's bad in itself. The fact that she's 8 months pregnant, like, you know, pregnancy, like, on average, last 9 months. He's only got a month left, and he's running shagged bloody Blue. Do you know when people go, oh, bloody men, get rid of them, this is who they're talking about, letting everyone else down. What are you going, what are you doing, man? Shagging Blue when you've got a missus who's 8 months pregnant at home? Have some shame. Have some shame. You've got to be taking the piss, fella. Is it worth it? Really? What? For being 669th in the queue, you'd literally just do this to Blue and then leave? Is that worth it for your family at home? Like, to get rid of your entire family for that? Why would you think like this? You absolute tool bag. Proper tool. You're every tool in the bloody box, man. Now, I imagine, obviously, like, he had one of them balaclavas on that they wear. I haven't seen the documentary, so I don't know what the people look like. But clearly, he's trying to hide his identity here, so he's clearly ashamed of going. Like, if he was proud about going, he would show his face. And honestly, I'm not surprised at his reaction to, you know, you telling his partner. Like, what did he say? He said, he had been blowing up my phone, calling me an evil little homewrecker who'd ruined his life and wanted his unborn daughter to grow up without a dad. No, that's what you did. You are the homewrecker. Like, a homewrecker is somebody that sleeps with another person and ruins the family dynamic at home. Hence, the home and the wrecker. You have shagged someone, therefore you are the evil homewrecker. Don't shoot the messenger. This is clearly a man that, like, doesn't take any responsibility. And honestly, the thing where I struggle with is, like, the being 8 months pregnant, because, you know, like, a large amount of stress can cause, unfortunately, you know, to have complications with the pregnancy. You might go into early labor or anything like that. This is where it gets a little bit more muddy waters, because honestly, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, I don't have, you know, the right medical information to confirm whether, you know, it would have been the healthiest thing to wait until after pregnancy. But just from an emotional standpoint, I feel like, you know, I would want to know before, because obviously you sign, like, the birth certificate and everything, and at that point you can make a decision whether, you know, how it's going to play out, and with custody and everything like that, it's better to know as early as possible. That's how I look at it. Like, I think you made the right decision emotionally, not from a health standpoint, emotionally, telling your friend. And the fact that you thought you would lose your friend over this, like, that shows that you're, you know, I think this person, right, this is a really nice person. Obviously, like, if your friend is your friend, they're not going to be angry at you they're going to be really happy with you. They're going to be more happy with you than their other friends who kind of were going to wait until she'd had the baby. Again, this is all from an emotional standpoint, not, you know, health-wise. I just can't imagine how, you know, your friend's feeling, you know? Can you imagine being 8 months pregnant and just, like, finding that out about, you know, this person that you're growing their baby, like, you know, all of the stuff that you've been through for the last 8 months, you know. The first thing that came to mind was not being able to have alcohol, but there's other things than that, you know. You know, all that pain, like, whilst they've been able to go out and do everything, like, clearly go out and do anything, like, this would just make you feel just, oh, you would be so angry, you'd feel worthless, you'd feel like, you know, you've had the taken out of you. You know, you get, like, some dads who actually do the whole thing with the mom where, you know, they don't have seafood, they don't drink alcohol, like, they do the pregnancy with the mother. And then you've got other men who just go and shag Blue while the partner's growing their baby. Oh god, the spectrum of men is great, isn't it? Not really. I'm just, like, thinking of this from, like, can you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and it was, like, lads that had to go through 9 months of pregnancy, and, like, I don't know who's, like, a hot guy, like, Jacob Elordi was doing a, you know, shagging 1,000 women in 1,000 challenge, and then, you know, your missus just queued up for that. How would you feel? Ask him how he would feel in that situation. I imagine he wouldn't be happy. I think what makes this even darker is, you know, Blue brags online about stealing people's husbands, like, she loves it. And, you know, when I've done videos on her, I've often called out that you don't actually see the impact of your actions on other people. Like, obviously she has no loyalties to this woman having the baby, but just, you know, from, like, an empathetic point of view, you wouldn't want to rip up, you know, offer an opportunity for that person to rip up a family. I mean, they're going to do it anyway if it's not with you, I guess. But can you imagine this partner seeing Blue brag about this sort of thing? It would just make everything so much worse. I can't imagine how honestly this woman is feeling right now. But just to clarify, you are not the for telling her, but there is an update, so let's read it. My friend's fiance wasn't the only one of our partners to do the lineup. My boyfriend of 3 years was one, so was another friend's husband. 2 hours ago, he posted screenshots in a group chat and photographic receipts no one could deny. Sorry, let me read. Friend, fiance was the only one. Yo, fuck off! What is this? Like a road trip or something? Oh, come on then, you're coming in the car, we're gonna go and shug Blue. Come on, lads, that'll be a fun day out, man. Fuck golf? I'm not going to play fuck golf, we're going to play with Blue, man. What, so, like, all of your husbands have went to this? Like, did they, like, go behind all your backs? Did they meet up at the pub and go, should we just go and, like, all cheat on my wives with Blue? Like, it'll be a proper laugh, wouldn't it? Like, if we're all doing it together, like, they can't leave us all. You know, we'll be able to just talk our way out of it. We'll wear balaclava. Yeah, that'll be so, won't it? Other men in relationships are involved, he said in the caption. I wasn't the only one there. He tags me. Maybe check your own man before coming for my relationship. He tags 5 other women. I'm not taking the blame alone and being seen as the bad guy. Well, tags the men did the same. Oh my god, this is the worst type of guy. So he's basically getting for his actions, and instead of just owning up to it like he didn't in the first place, in the second phase of this, he's just baited out all his mates. He's went, oh well, all them did it as well, so like, what's the issue here? What? Oh, so I'm getting all the play. What about them 5 lads? What about your partners? They all did it. Go on, have a good go at them too. I just know all them lads are like, I would have got away with that. I would have got away with that if it wasn't for you and your stupid tattoos. Would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. You know, they could write a movie about this and I wouldn't believe that it was based on a true story. This is genuinely one of the craziest stories I've ever read. There was a lot more said, but I stopped reading and just deleted my social media account, then blocked my now ex. I don't want to hear his explanation. I feel so humiliated and physically sick. I don't know how I'm going to face the co-workers or clients at work tomorrow. I wish I could just disappear. My phone is going crazy, so I'm going to turn it off and go for a long shower and see if I can get any sleep for what I'm sure will be hell tomorrow. This makes us feel so bad for this woman and the other people, because it's not even their actions which have caused all of this. You know, like, it's the actions of someone they were with has made their life a living hell. And this is the thing that people don't realise when they go to these events. Like, it's not just them, it's affecting everyone around them. Because, you know, even like, you could be the cousin of this person or the nephew or whatever, and if someone finds out that your uncle or your cousin went to this, that's gonna stick with you. Like, obviously it shouldn't, but people are gonna be like, oh, his cousin queued up for do you know what I mean? You're gonna be infamous, and you make it just horrific for your entire family or anybody that's around you, just because you want to, like, I don't even know, like, sleep with Blue for like 10 seconds. Like, how desperate are you? You've literally got a woman at home. This woman that you're queuing up to sleep with does not care about you. I can't wrap my head around it. Okay, so OP, the person who wrote this post, has actually been quite active in the comments, so I just kind of want to read out little edits they've done in replies to people. So, edit. People were saying I was very vague in this post, but I didn't know what saying the name of the documentary was against the rules. This person isn't very good at typing. I don't want to give too much information away for my friend's sake. I'll edit the post later. And then they basically just confirmed that it was the 1,000 Blue challenge. This makes it even worse though. Like, the challenge was in January, and apparently her friend and her fiance got engaged on Christmas Day. So like, it wasn't even a month after they got engaged again. It doesn't really matter what the timeline is here, it's bad any time. But a month after you proposed to her? What are you thinking? Not even worked off the Christmas dinner already with another woman. Oh, and apparently he actually found out in January that she was pregnant as well. So we don't have the exact timeline here, but you know, he could have found out before he went to this event. Maybe he already had this event booked and he couldn't cancel it, you know, like, or sometimes, you know, there's a cancellation fee. You've got to turn up, unfortunately. As bad as this situation is, and it is bad, it is really bad, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, this is bad. Did I mention that? It's bad, really, really bad. Hopefully it doesn't make you feel bad. But I'm glad that you can kind of rip the bandage off now. And it really hurts. Like, it's going to really sting, really. I can't even imagine how this feels, especially when the baby's involved. But it's better than rumours circulating, you not really knowing, at least you can kind of just rip it off and get this pain right now and then just try and move on with the baby, focus on growing this lovely baby that you've got. This is really bad. This is actually like knocked us a little bit. This is genuinely, I'm gonna need like I feel like I need therapy after this one. I'm not even involved. OP has also confirmed that she could still stay with her fiance. Like, they haven't split up at this point. Like, obviously OP has split up with her partner, but you know, obviously they didn't have a baby and weren't engaged to be married. And again, like, you know, it's their relationship, it's whatever makes them happy. I guess if they can move forward from this and, you know, this is what she wants, then fair play. But if this was me, I would, you know, I would like to think that I would cut it off. But yeah, overall, nobody is the asshole here apart from all of your partners, especially the fiance mentioned. He's the biggest asshole. You know, we covered a story in a previous Am I the A-hole video where somebody went to a Phillips meet and greet, and that was wild. Make sure you watch it after this one. But this one, this is even more wild in my opinion. That made me speechless. Am I the a-hole for saying I told you so when my boyfriend got beat up by my ex? Alright, there we go. Little bit of a light-hearted one for her. I ended things with my ex a year ago and have been dating my boyfriend for 6 months. My ex, during this time, has refused to move on and basically has repeatedly sent me flirty texts until I blocked him, as well as hitting on me in person, blatantly in front of my boyfriend too. I told him multiple times that I am not interested and that I love my new boyfriend, but he has persisted. This has led to my boyfriend wanting to fight him for disrespecting you and I's relationship. I always told him this wasn't a good idea because violence isn't the answer, but the real reason is half that, and also half because I know my ex would beat him in a fight. Sorry, you can't announce that publicly. You've got to back your man, no matter the circumstances, even if it's a bear. Back your man. My ex trains in the gym a lot and also does multiple martial arts, whereas my boyfriend isn't really into fitness and is very skinny. Okay, yeah, Fez, I see why you didn't back your man. No, honestly, I would just go back to my ex if we're... Yeah. He doesn't stand a chance, love. You know, I'd probably just break up with him now. Yeah. Multiple martial arts, you say? Multiple. What, he's got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, kickboxing, boxing. The guy's a bloody ninja. He finally told me last week that he is going to fight my ex at a party. They'll both be at that Saturday. This past Saturday. I begged him not to and told him bluntly that he will lose and make himself look bad. He responded saying that he's a lot bigger than my ex. He's great. I've just bit my tongue. He's quite tall and my ex's average height, so he'll be fine. I repeatedly warned him, but he brushed it off. Lo and behold, exactly what I said happened. And he ended up losing. Although he wasn't hurt too badly, aside from his ego, he came to me upset and expected sympathy. But I just felt irritated and said that I told him exactly that this would happen, and he chose not to listen. He's angry at me for being unsupportive, but I feel like I tried to warn him. Am I the a-hole? Okay, this ended up being actually a little bit more lighthearted. I thought this was going to be a little bit more sinister. It's actually like some High School Musical type I tell you what, bro. You, me, winner gets the girl. I kind of like this. Good old-fashioned scrap. So you was gonna, but no, because it was like the winner doesn't even, you know, get to go out with the girlfriend. Also, she gets a decision in this as well, you know. It is her life, so she kind of, you know, I'd argue that she's got a little bit of, like, her opinion matters a little bit. Honestly, I don't know what your taste in men is, but again, they don't seem the best. You know, like your ex, clearly he's using his, you know, ninja abilities as a form of intimidation. He knows that he can flirt with you in front of your boyfriend's face and your boyfriend can't do anything because, let's face it, he's a ninja. Like, and there's one person you don't want to fight, it's a ninja. You know, I've never seen one in real life, but I can imagine it would put a dampener on your day. Fighting a ninja probably wouldn't be the best thing. You know, when you wake up in the morning, I'm not like thinking, oh, today I want to fight a ninja. You know? Now, your boyfriend has said that he wanted this fight because he's disrespecting you and, like, your relationship. Now, you have said that you don't think that this is the answer, and you are part of this relationship, and you've told him prior to this fight, even if you win, whatever happens, it's not going to fix whatever's gone on here. Obviously, because what does a fight actually solve? Nothing. It's just two people putting their egos against each other and nothing really happens. So to me, this just seems like both of the men that you've chose have really big issues with their egos, and you know, I don't really know if this is an attractive thing. I guess you kind of go for someone that has a little bit of a screw loose, which, you know, probably keeps it interesting for you, but I just feel like these men aren't really that great. It's also the fact that, like, I'm sorry, but as a man, if you're gonna fight the ex of, you know, your girlfriend, you have to be sure you're gonna win. Like, you can't go into that fight with any doubt that you could lose. Like, if you're going into that fight, the underdog, like, you're not gonna catch me there. You're not gonna catch me in that situation, right? I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna catch him when he's lacking, right? In a McDonald's car park, I'll just drive over him, right? Tactical victory. I'm not gonna have a square one-to-one with him with people watching, where it's for everyone's eyes. People are recording it in 4K, can slow it back if I get battered. I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. I'm gonna catch him when he's visiting his grandma at the old people's home. I'm gonna let down his tyres, inconvenience his day. I'm not gonna have a fist fight. Why would you choose a fist fight when he's a ninja? I just don't understand. No, being serious for a second, okay? This guy clearly feels emasculated by your ex, okay? This is the reason he's doing this. He feels emasculated. He feels like he's not a man, and he feels like if he fights your ex, it proves to himself that he actually is a man because he can stand up to people that he feels are disrespecting you. So I'm reaching here, but in a tiny, tiny way, it shows that he cares for you. But it's the most toxic way to show you, which isn't a good thing. So he clearly cares for you because he's willing to get hurt for you, but he doesn't listen to you. And I'd argue that listening is actually a little bit more important. I just don't know how you haven't got the ick. If honestly, I would just kind of leave him now. I know you're kind of leaving him when he's down, but yeah, like, this is his own doing, really. And unless he's, I would need to sit down with him and talk to him and be like, look, from my point of view, can you see why you fighting him only embarrassed me? Can you see this? Can you see even if you beat him, it still only embarrasses me because everyone's going to be saying, oh, why so-and-so's exes fighting each other? Like, that's going to be the word. They're not going to talk about who won or who lost or who got the trophy raised at the end. They're going to talk about how embarrassing this is for me. So I don't think you are the asshole for saying I told you so, because he just kind of disregarded your feelings in the first place and did this selfishly. So he has to, you know, kind of be a man and deal with the repercussions of his own actions here. Okay, should we do one last one? Let's do one last one. Am I the arsehole for putting googly eyes on all the food in the fridge to prevent snacking? Okay, now we're talking. Now we've got a bad one. This puts the blue one to shame. My roommate eats everything. I'll buy a pack of cheese sticks and they're gone by the morning. I asked nicely, then labelled stuff, no change. So I got creative. I bought a pack of stick-on googly eyes and put them on everything. Milk, eyes. Leftover spaghetti, judging you. Even taped one to a banana. It worked, he said. It creeped him out and he stopped eating my stuff. Now he says I'm being passive-aggressive and creating an emotionally hostile refrigerator. Am I the arsehole for turning the fridge into a surveillance horror movie to stop my food from vanishing? Sorry, I just need to, you know, take all this in, because this is a pretty deep one, guys. Don't want to hurt anyone's feelings with this one. You know, it's pretty much life or death, this. R/ am I the a-hole really, really is, you know, just getting more and more intense by the day, isn't it? Okay, let's treat this one with the you know, the seriousness it does deserve. So, first off, right, like, eating, when you share a flat or a house with someone, people eating your food is a problem. I've been through that, right? You look in the fridge, you're like, excuse me, who's ate my bloody cheese string? Honestly, I used to love cheese strings back in the day. Well, I did until, you know, the person kept eating them. Still don't know who that was to this day, right? I guess I'll never know. It can be really annoying, right? Especially, you know, if you don't have much money. Like, when I lived in my first flat, I could only afford a certain amount of food, so if someone nicked that food, I wouldn't have a meal for that night. Do you know what I mean? Like, it can be so annoying. Now, the fact that you have tried to rectify this by, you know, asking nicely, that's the best way to do it. Just be like, oh, by the way, do you mind not eating me food? Like, you have a right to be angry here. Just asking nicely. You've done the best. You went about this the best possible way. Then you've labelled stuff, which, by the way, is a little bit like, you shouldn't need to do that if there's only 2 people in the house, because surely you know it's not yours. You know, if there's like leftover spaghetti in the fridge, surely you would know, well, I didn't eat the spaghetti in the first place, so that's probably not my spaghetti. Clearly this person doesn't though. So you have labelled it, which again, you don't really need to do, but you've went an extra step. Again, not really passive-aggressive. And then you can just blame it on the date. Be like, oh, I've put my name on it with the date so I know when it goes out of date. But really, you've done it so you know that doesn't steal it. But the fact that none of that worked, the thing that worked was you putting googly eyes on, and that somehow is this bloke's kryptonite, kind of makes me worry that you share a place with this guy. The fact it said it creeped him out, like, I guess that is right, to be fair. Like, if you open the fridge, first off, who keeps bananas in the fridge? Anyway, you open the fridge, right? You see the banana with a couple of eyes on, you are going to be a bit like, whoa, Like, it makes you think. And I guess that's what you want, you know? You've kind of made him think about it. Like, if it's got your name on, he's probably not thinking because he knows your name. Whereas if Googly Eyes kind of throws you off, it makes you consider, wait, do I actually want to steal this banana right now? And the eyes are looking at you. Everything's a lot more intense. You're probably like, oh God, like, oh God, I'm too overwhelmed. I'll shut that. So I can understand the craftsmanship of using the eyes is what I'm trying to say. I actually think it's a really smart move, thinking outside of the box. But the fact it's work, I don't really rate the IQ of the guy that you're sharing a room with, I'm afraid. Now, the fact that he is now turning the tables here and saying you are the one who is the idiot here by creating, and I quote, an emotionally hostile refrigerator. Are you really? Like, are you really? Like, is this guy gonna contact the landlord now because, you know, the fridge is too angry for him? How can you have an emotionally hostile refrigerator? I don't understand how this works here. Especially Googly Eyes, like, they're funny. I've never looked at Googly Eyes and went, God, they're a little bit hostile, aren't they? I just don't really understand what he's trying to say here. Honestly, I would just move out. Or just get rid of the fridge altogether. I know that also affects you and probably isn't the best move, but then that's just, no, don't get rid of the fridge. Get 2 fridges. Buy more eyes. Put eyes everywhere. Even on the toilet. Right? Make that man constipated. Make him never have a shit again. Don't do that either. This is just fun things that I would do in my head, but not actually carry out. Now, I don't believe you are the asshole. Although you were a little bit far putting eyes in the refrigerator, I'll give him that one. I don't feel like you've created a surveillance horror movie, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe the eyes are actually recording anything. I mean, then he has more of a point if, you know, you're putting these eyes everywhere and they're all like hidden cameras. Then I'd be like, okay, maybe I'm with the, you know, the emotional hostile refrigerator man here. But I think they're just googly eyes that you get from like the pound shop or something. So if this is the method that's working, I would keep on doing it, right? And if he doesn't like it, then guess what? He shouldn't have stole your food in the first place, and then we wouldn't even be in this eye scenario. The eyes wouldn't even exist if that man could just buy his own food. And then maybe, you know, like if he gets into a rhythm of not stealing your food, you can kind of ease him out of the eye treatment. You know, maybe he's just leave one eye on everything. I know that seems a little bit more creepy, but you know, you're kind of working your way down from things, and then you can eventually, hopefully, you know, in a couple of months' time, have no eyes in the fridge, and he's not stealing the food, and then everything's rosy. Anyway, Donuts, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, doing these videos are my favorite, and I was blown away by the response in the comments of the last time I the asshole, where I basically said, would you want a full channel dedicated to these videos? Because honestly, I'm in the works of doing it, because I just literally love these videos. They're so good. If you do want to go on a binge watch of them, click here, it'll lead you to all of them. There is a Phillips one like somewhere in there in the chain, so make sure you enjoy that one, because that story is very similar to the one that we covered earlier in this video. See you in the next one, Donuts. 4,000 likes on this video to keep the series going, okay?
Kirkham, baby!